everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching Lost, Season 1, Episode 21.
The Greater Good.
This is a fine episode.
Yeah.
It's a Saeed episode.
Generally positive on Saeed episodes.
Yeah. I actually, in spite of the post 9/11 terrorism of it all, it's stuff that we assume about Saeed. However, it is nice to know.
Yeah.
I remember being a little bit annoyed the first time where I was like, okay, so Boone died. They did give him a funeral.
Yeah.
It was very nice. The episode's a little bit Shannon focused because of Boone dying.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being a little bit annoyed that the flashback story was Saeed, because this is his third, right?
It's at least
is it only
his
the second?
Yeah.
Okay. And I realize that they don't always do that. Like, the person that the A plot is about is not always the flashback. But I did like it better this time because it is largely about how Saeed is navigating this situation.
Yeah.
And I like contrasting it against showing us what he would do for love.
Well, that's the other thing too. I do like the juxtaposition because what a lot of the flashbacks do is actually show how the characters who are on the island have grown from the last time something similar happened, where like he allowed his friend to get into this terrorist situation and he encouraged it because he wanted Nadia, and he pushed and pushed and pushed, and then at the very last minute got cold feet and he wasn't able to save his friend. But by not letting Shannon shoot Locke, even though now she's mad at him, he's been able to save Shannon from herself, essentially. And so I do really like that, and I appreciate that that's how they do, because it's also the same where it's like, yes, this is a Shannon-focused episode, but it's the, like, skill set Saeed has that carries through to the Shannon plot and also his plot with Locke. So it's like, that's why it needs to be a Saeed episode, as opposed to like just learning more about how Boone was in love with Shannon isn't going to do a lot for Shannon.
No, I'm still, like, at the risk of beating a dead horse, which we've already beaten to death, buried, done back up and beaten again. But there's inner workings we could be exploring with some of these characters. And I find her stoicism interesting and compelling through the entire first third of the episode, especially when Jack asks her if there's anything she wants to say.
Shannon, you want to say something?
No. I didn't know Boone very well, and for that I'm sorry.
And Saeed steps up for her, in that regard.
I also find it interesting how she sort of slips back into habits, because she like goes up to Saeed and she's like, you asked if there was anything you could do for me. And she's just sort of going back into the, like, I could get Charlie to catch me a fish kind of vibe. And not to say that that's necessarily a negative or that she's even necessarily doing it on purpose, but I like that in this time of stress and grief, she slips back.
I am annoyed, though, and this goes back to the writing, where it's like, considering that, one of the 8, she's one of the 3 plots this episode. What does she have, 7 lines of dialogue?
It's a little ridiculous.
How are you? Do you want to take a walk?
Sure.
And it's like, she doesn't end up having a conversation with either Saeed, Jack, Locke, or Kate.
Yeah.
And it's like, I just truly feel like she should have had an actual Goodwill Hunting conversation.
It's not your fault.
Yeah. And it's just sort of annoying. I forgot that first of all, I laughed out loud when Saeed was like, you don't even know how to fire a gun.
You've never fired a gun before.
But I forgot she actually did shoot.
Yeah.
She shot to kill. That's surprising for me. I don't know. I wish, as usual, it was her part was written better.
Yeah.
But no, I did like the Saeed stuff, and I like that it sort of illustrates the position he's in, especially in this time period, that he's sort of like between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah. Very good accidental pun.
Because he's damned either way, like 100%. No matter what he does, and on top of that, he has to stay calm and graceful and level-headed, and I do like juxtaposing that against the, little white girl who gets to throw the tantrum, and everyone's like, she'll be fine. Do you know what I mean? Like,
he's thrown his share of tantrums on the island.
Well, has he, Saeed?
Yeah, he's been wailing on everybody. Yeah, he almost killed Sawyer.
Yeah, but that was provoked. They tapped him in. Yeah. And so it's that thing that...
She's been provoked. It's very one-to-one.
It's the thing that you see often with people of color, especially men, where it's like you can't ever let you can't ever drop the calm facade. Yeah. Otherwise you're a threat.
100%. Yeah.
And so it's like, here she is waving guns around, and everyone's like, she just needs to sleep it off. Speaking of sleeping it off, Jack is worse for the wear.
He's not doing good. He also, Kate is, trying to... he does need that coconut, and he didn't get it. And
You're gonna need that coconut
She's
water.
making him drink some kind of juice.
A little more.
No, enough already. I've rested.
Jack.
I'm fine.
Where are you going? You need to lie down.
No, I don't.
I strongly advise it.
All right, what's going on now?
I crushed up some sleeping pills. Put them in your juice.
You drugged me?
Yeah.
Huh.
I love that she drugged him.
And then she's like, I crushed up sleeping pills.
I do kind of love Kate. I do kind of love that she's in this in between.
Yeah.
And I think it largely works. Sometimes it plays into the male masturbatory fantasy.
Sure.
But for the most part, I think she's sort of like, and I think it's really good.
She's a little bit of a cool girl, but it works. It works.
And then Charlie's trying. Well, I do really feel for Claire.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember liking Claire, but she's just talk about trauma brain.
Oh,
she's just
Claire's brain is Swiss cheese.
She's just so paranoid. She doesn't want to leave the baby alone, and rightfully so.
I get it.
And she does let Charlie take the baby, which, I mean, it's fine.
Yeah,
everything works, but I don't know that I would have let Charlie take the baby.
He's not a failure of a person.
I wouldn't have been surprised if rats carried it off on his watch. You know what I mean? He
literally doesn't put the baby down. It's very sweet. He's trying so hard.
And they do determine that Sawyer's voice is calming to the baby. It's played for comedy very successfully, so.
It's very sweet, though. And again, it does a thing that we talked about in the last episode where it layers another... It puts another smooth coating over the outside of Sawyer, where it's just very sweet that he's actually also willing to help keep the baby calm and sleeping
by reading motorcycle magazines or something.
I think just whatever is around.
He said the word torque.
He did.
The low rumble breaks the crisp fall air as a flash of red streaks down the Maple Dapple Vermont Highway. The 32-valve V8 engine purrs as the transmission clicks down a gear and the vehicle unleashes all 400 horses and 350 pound-feet of rear-wheel torque.
That's largely it. We didn't really get into Saeed's flashback, but it was the friend.
Yeah.
He was trying to betray a friend. And, I think he did.
Because the CIA basically was like, we can tell you where Nadia is if you help us, stop this terrorist attack. So I guess they did stop he did.
Because the guy just killed himself.
Sam killed himself, yeah.
What was the smoke detector? Was that
there was a bug in it.
So they were already being watched?
By somebody, yeah.
Okay. And, he was doing that to prove to them his loyalty. Okay. It was fine.
It's like for me personally, I'm so far past the terrorism storylines that I get largely nothing from it. I was like not paying super close attention.
I mentioned it earlier. I want to hit it again. I really did enjoy the scenes with Saeed interrogating Locke.
Oh my god, yeah.
And I think Nasim and Terry were really great. As much as we don't like Locke, that's
Naveen.
Hard. Did I say Nasim?
Yeah.
Naveen. As much as we don't always care for Locke, that is hardly ever. That's never.
Oh no, it's not
directed at Terry. I
O'Quinn's
think he's
fault
great.
Ever. He does.
Also keeping it tighter than I ever realized.
Terry O'Quinn is a hot older man. He's a silver fox. The thing for me too that every once in a while Terry O'Quinn does go into like late season Walter White like bad lying acting, which I believe is on purpose. Like you're acting like you're a bad liar. He takes Saeed to the plane crash and they find the heroin. So now Saeed also knows about the heroin. I was for some reason thinking they kept it like a big fat secret, but I don't think they do.
No, there's just a time where they could have used it in season 2 and they don't.
Yeah. Regardless, he also says that Boone said something about a hatch.
What is the hatch? Boone mentioned it before he died.
2 hatches on a plane, Saeed. Could be forward or aft.
And that's one of his Walter White acting moments.
Yeah, but I was sort of like, oh.
Well, but Saeed clearly can see through it, and he's like, at the end of the episode, he's like, take me to the hatch. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, good try. Take me to the hatch.
We already talked about that.
Yeah. And so now Saeed is wrapped into this as well. So yeah, I don't have a lot more to say. I liked this episode. It was also a nice surprise that it wasn't a Locke episode like we thought, and it was a Saeed episode, so that's always a little bit better. We just had a Locke episode. We should have guessed that there wasn't going to be another one yet. So yeah, the next episode's the Kate episode, and then we've got a 3-episode finale. So we will.
I don't remember what the next, whatever the Kate may be.
Back, Born to Run.
Oh, are we actually going to get? Is Beth Broderick in it?
Yes.
Okay. I know.
Oh, and Mackenzie Aston.
Yeah.
Okay.
What else?
We're gonna go watch the next episode.